Hi folks, I just want to explain an adaptation that I've got to the Research Methodologies module poster task. And this is something that we found last year when we delivered the first day school for research methodologies, that it took people a little while to understand exactly what it was they needed to include in the poster. And although we set off very purposefully in the morning, they kind of ran out of space. They couldn't visualise what the final thing was going to look like. We did use an example from a previous year, but of course that was a very complex example because it was a finished piece of work. And what we're asking them to do on the day school is not a finished piece of work, but a kind of prototype or draft. And so instead of going into that level of detail early on, I was trying to conceive of a way of kind of simplifying and giving them an overview of exactly what the poster needed to include. And so I kind of came up with an idea like this, and the reason why I've chosen a hexagon as a shape is that, of course, there are 6 main components of the poster: the topic, the literature review, the research questions, the methodology, the methods, and the ethics. And I thought that the hexagon was a nice way to kind of drive that home as a concept. And then, of course, the flower in the middle is meant to indicate that the use of colour and images in order to illustrate your points is useful. So as a kind of introduction, a memorable visual sort of hook to hang the poster on, I think that kind of is a useful thing. And then moving on from that, what I did was to try to do a mock-up of one. And so this one is about my doctoral level research. And if we zoom in, you can see that I've got there the topic, but then I've commented on it at the side, and this may or may not be useful as an example because it's very quickly done and lots of problems with it, because as I've mentioned here, it's not enough merely to mention the important theorists. Shouldn't I try to convey what I have drawn from them and so on? So it's a kind of sketchy example. And then the green lines were my effort to kind of show how these things were all congruent with one another. And so the fact that it's iterative research links to the fact that it's action research, so that we've got iterative cycles of research in order to try to improve some aspects of one's practice, and so on. And so that, as an example, seemed the next sort of logical step. And then I began to think about how we could get the students to use this kind of model actually in the day school, and I came up with a kind of template, if you like. And this is what, can you see it there? This is what I used in order to construct these posters. So I kind of put it down on a piece of flip chart. The light's not brilliant here, but you can get the picture. And then I drew around it, and then obviously filled in. So it's